Hi, everyone. Welcome to the senior seminar. Today, we are going to discuss the importance of extracurricular activities and building a resume for college. So, remember, colleges want to see you come and get involved in their community. They want to see a well-rounded applicant who is involved in the community. So what better way to show them that you're going to come there and get involved than be involved in the community that you are already a part of? And how can you do that? You can do that through your activities, your sports, your part-time job, and so on. So first things first, we are told all the time by college admissions counselors that transcripts are absolutely play the biggest role in college admissions. That is the first thing they are looking at, is your transcript with all your grades and your GPA on it. But after that, and especially now that so many schools have chosen to stay test optional, extracurricular activities can have a huge impact on your chances of being accepted to the college of your dreams. Extracurricular activities include sports, clubs, part-time jobs, and community service. A lot of times students may forget or not consider a part-time job as an extracurricular activity, but it absolutely is. Colleges completely understand if you can't, participate in all of these sports or clubs because you have to work outside of school, and that's a responsibility you have. So part-time jobs absolutely fill that role as well, and so does community service. All right, so there's a few things we want to pay attention to when we're talking about extracurricular activities. So first things first, remember to focus on quality, not quantity. You don't need to have, 15 clubs on your college application to which you kind of go to a meeting here and there. Colleges definitely want to see more depth in your level of involvement in each activity. So it's so much better to have 2 or 3 clubs or activities to which you're truly devoted to. You're at every meeting, you hold a leadership position. You're working with your advisor on ways to do more for the club, things like that, than to have 5 clubs, none of which you really care about. So always, always, always quality, not quantity. Be mindful of how much time you actually have. So a lot of times, and we're all very guilty of it, we spread ourselves too thin, right? So you want to make sure that you're remembering there's only 24 hours in a day. You cannot do it all, and that's okay. Don't load up on extracurricular activities just to boost your college application. That can sometimes hurt your chances, right? Because then your academics go on the back burner. Your academics right now should be your number one priority. So you don't want to be too involved outside of school to take away from that study time. Next is do something you actually have an interest in. If you're going to put a significant amount of time into something, it should be something you at least have a genuine interest in. Even if your interest isn't necessarily something you want to do as a career, any passion you have for something definitely will shine through. So don't do something just because you think it'll look good on your college application. Make sure it's something you're really interested in. Be consistent. Colleges love to see a long-term interest in a specific club or activity. So you want to make sure it's something you were in for not just junior year, but maybe it was something you were doing sophomore year and junior year, and you're still involved in your senior year. Of course, we switch our things around, and that's totally okay. But if you have some consistency to show with your level of involvement, that's impressive to admissions officers. And play to your strengths, always. If you're great at math, join the math league. If you love to write, join the newspaper club. You definitely want to make sure that you're participating in activities that show your best chance of being successful. Like, look how great I am at this. Colleges know not everyone's going to be the captain of the football team, but they really appreciate if you know yourself well enough to play to those strengths. So here's some extracurricular activities in the Elizabeth district. So on the left-hand side here, we have all of your sports listed. And then the right-hand side, we have some clubs and organizations listed, but to be honest, there's so many and you all go to different schools within the district. So in an effort of space, I didn't list them all, but definitely make sure you're following up on that. You have multicultural club, robotics, student government, yearbook, And if you're interested in community service, remember, community service counts as an extracurricular activity. But if you're interested in community service, Shout or UC Shout is based in Union County, and they're always looking for Union County students to help with various community service projects. So, sometimes they have projects where they're cleaning parks or they're volunteering at the soup kitchen, things like that. But if you're very passionate about community service in general, definitely you might want to check them out. Okay, so next thing we're going to talk about is the admissions push. This is just, we'll touch on this quickly. Colleges are always looking for ways to enhance their campus. So every year, the upper administration of a college will tell the admissions department what they're looking for specifically qualities or talents for students who are going to make up that incoming class. That's called an admissions push. The only people who know the specific admissions push are the admissions counselors. Us high school counselors, you students will never know, and that's okay. There are times the admissions push certainly works in our favor. For the past, I would say 5 years or so, the University of Alabama has offered free college applications to anyone from New Jersey. So we could assume that they want New Jersey kids at their school, right? That's an admissions push that works in our favor. What can you do to increase your chances? Nothing, just be yourself and be involved. All right, so push items you cannot control. There are some things you have absolutely no control over. Sometimes schools are looking for students of a specific ethnicity, racial background, students whose parents have a certain educational status, or maybe they're looking for only children or students who have more than 4 siblings. Those are all things outside of your control, so don't worry about them. But push items you absolutely can control are being involved. This is why we're talking about it when we talk about extracurricular activities, because you want to make sure you're involved in your community. Maybe they're looking for to fill out their rugby team, or they need people helping with their Relay for Life club, and they want students who already have that experience. So there's all different ways that being involved in your community can definitely help your college application process. And just a little reminder on the side, you are wonderful the way you are. So just be your authentic self. Don't do things just because you think a college might be looking for it. Okay. So another thing we're going to talk about really quickly, and this is probably the last thing we'll talk about, is your resume. Most college applications, including Common App, have a limited number of spots to detail the extracurricular activities you do. If you participate in a lot of various activities, or if you have, a lot of commitment to certain activities and you hold various leadership roles and you're doing a lot of different things within your activity, you may want to consider detailing all of that in a resume. I always say this to students. Remember, colleges are looking for reasons to accept you, not reject you. So the more information we can share with them, the better. So your resume should include some, your contact information, what's your full name, your email, your phone number, where they can reach you. Languages spoken, you want to make sure you include your fluency of each language, the reading level you have, the writing level you have, if this is your first language, and so on. Your education. So even within your high school, what school do you currently go to? What's your current GPA? What is any relevant coursework? So if you're going for a specific major and right now you're taking, 2 or 3 different nursing classes, you want to make sure you're including that, or an AP Science. Your extracurricular activities should absolutely go on there. Community service, any achievements that you have won, and any additional skills, Microsoft Office, Canva, if you work well in groups, things like that. Here's an example of a good high school student resume. So you'll see up top, they have their contact information, their phone number. If you have a LinkedIn or a website, you can absolutely link it, but that's not necessary. They have a little bit about themselves, and then they start to list all of their achievements here. So their education, you'll see that they go to this high school. Here's their GPA. Here is their relevant coursework. We'll see intro to graphic design, APR, yearbook, computer applications. These, this being listed here might give me the indication that a student is applying for a design-based major. They have their honors there if they're a member of National Honor Society or Art Honor Society. And then they put their major achievements, or you could put these as your extracurricular activities, but you'll see they definitely have a theme in their resume here. They wanted to list that they're doing, not only are they doing the yearbook club, but they hold a leadership position there, and they have some things to which they've achieved while in yearbook club. And then they have their newspaper, which they are, again, holding another kind of leadership position. They are the graphic designer for the newspaper. So that's sort of how you want to make sure you're going into more detail in your resume. They have some additional skills listed here. And then, of course, any awards or honorary mentions that they may have had. So your resume is not going to look exactly the same to this, but this is a good example of kind of what you want to focus on when you're creating a resume for a college application. And finally, Naviance. You all have Naviance accounts. Naviance does have a resume builder, and here are the instructions for accessing your resume. It's a good thing to do to just, here in Naviance, you could put all of your stuff in the resume builder. And when I say stuff, I mean any extracurricular activity you do. So your clubs, your sports, your community service, your part-time job. If you have to help family members, if you have responsibilities at home, you can kind of keep all that in one location in your Naviance account. So you could follow these instructions to do your resume builder. And then once you have all the information in, you can actually generate your own resume through Naviance. And that is it for our extracurricular and resume building senior seminar.